This is a story time about how I was discriminated on at work for a long time, and I didn't even realize I was being discriminated until a particular situation happened. So, years back, I worked at a steel mill for a lot of years, and part of my job as a steel mill worker was I had to train people. I was what they call a department leader in my department. And so when they hired new people, my job was to train them on various machines and operations and how to set the machines up to run a product that we were trying to run. So one day the company hired a group of 4 people. One of the guys was put with me so I can train him. So every day, the guy would call me Dan, but I didn't understand why he kept calling me Dan. I would always tell him, no, my name is Damien. And this guy came like right off the gate with calling me Dan. And I never knew why until like a month later. We were sitting in the break room one day. Everybody was eating. So I walked in the break room to sit down to have my lunch. Everybody was already in there eating. So I was always one of the last ones to the break room. So when I walked in the break room, everybody from different departments was in the break room. And I'd be like, what's up to this person? What's up to that person? And the guy that I had trained a month earlier was in another department. And he was like, oh, hey, Dan, how you doing? The few people at his table started laughing. I was like, yo, I've been telling you for a whole month now. My name is not Dan. My name is Damien. And so didn't realize why everybody was laughing. So after the break room, on that same day, we had a 30-minute break. The employee restroom was right outside of the break room. So as break was almost over, I went into the restroom. Another coworker had came into the restroom. After I went in there, he was like, hey, I want to tell you something. And the guy that came in the in the restroom was white. He said, hey, Damien, I want to tell you why that guy keeps calling you Dan. I said, well, why? Because I know I'm not good with names. When I first meet somebody, I don't remember their name until after 3 or 4 times. But I figure after a month of training this guy and working with him, he should know my name is Damien, not Dan. And it's right on my work uniform. It says Damien right on my uniform. He said the reason why he keeps calling you Dan is because he's a racist. He don't like black people. I said, oh, well, a lot of people here don't like black people, so I don't really care. He said, no, you don't understand. The reason why he keeps calling you a Dan, he's doing it on purpose. I said, okay, what is he doing on purpose by calling me Dan? He said he's actually calling you a dumb ass ninja. It took a second for it to sink in what had just been said to me. And after it sunk in, my anger turned into rage. And instead of me going straight to him, I just went straight to HR and I reported what he was doing. And so HR told me to record it one day of him saying it. Even though we had several witnesses of him calling me Dan, HR just needed me to just get us just a small recording of him saying it. So about 2 days later, I don't know if somebody told him, but he wouldn't say it for a while, for like 2 days. So 2 days later, I go in the break room early, I'm getting a soda, I make sure I'm one of the first ones in the break room. And I had my phone in my pocket, in my uniform pocket. I had the phone turned towards me, but the record was on. He walked in and he said, hey, how you doing, Dan? And I looked at him, I said, why do you keep calling me that, man? He was like, I'm sorry, Damien. And he pointed at my shirt like, my fault. I had got him. So I took the recording to HR and I let them listen to the recording. Even though I think like 4 people had signed saying that they heard him calling me Dan over and over and over repeatedly, they finally fired his butt. So if you ever in the workplace and you a brother or a sister and some person just keeps calling you Dan, just know he's not making a mistake and mispronouncing your name. He's calling you a dumbass ninja. So be wary of people like that. Discrimination in the workplace, guys, is still real. There is, listen, nothing has changed. All the little signs that they put up on the wall talking about discrimination not tolerated, blah, blah, blah. That stuff is a crock, man. Discrimination is still in the workplace. Some companies still tolerate it, but a lot of companies do not tolerate it. So don't be afraid to report somebody who's being funny. The guy ended up being fired and said it was just a joke. He was just joking with me, but the company didn't find it too funny. Neither did a lot of the employees didn't find it funny either. So that's my story time on workplace discrimination. If you have a workplace discrimination, leave me a comment.